This month, we've been talking about decluttering, clearing our physical spaces, releasing the mental clutter of worry and endless to-do lists, letting go of obligations we never consciously chose. And all of it has been leading to the same question. What are we making space? What are we making space for? Because empty space isn't the goal. Empty space is the gift. Hi, I'm Gloria, and welcome to the Garden Years, and I'm glad you're here. Today, let's talk about what empty spaces actually gives us. A month ago, I thought decluttering was all about getting rid of things that I didn't need. I thought it was about being more organized, more efficient, and maybe at the surface level, that's true. But what I'm learning, what this whole month has been teaching me, is that decluttering isn't really about the stuff. It's about the space. It isn't about the stuff, it's about the space, the physical space in my home where I can breathe instead of constantly managing things. The mental space where I can think clearly instead of rehearsing worry and carrying an invisible list like a to-do list. The space in my life where I can choose what deserves my energy instead of defaulting to every obligation that finds me. And here's what I discovered. Empty spaces isn't emptiness, it's possibility. When I clear a shelf and leave it empty, I'm not creating a void. I'm creating an invitation, an opening, room for something I can't even imagine yet because I've been too full to see it. Remember the garden metaphor? Or we've been coming back to all month? Sometimes you clear things out not to plant new blooms. You want to plant those new blooms right away, but to give the land a break, to let the soil rest. That's where I am, letting the soil rest, like the farmers let the land rest, because it needs it. So, what does empty space actually gives us? I'm still learning this, but here's what I'm noticing. It gives us room to breathe. When I'm not managing clutter, physical or mental, or relational, I can actually be present. I can sit in my space and feel calm instead of always scanning and looking for what needs to be done. It gives us room to imagine. Yes, to imagine. When my mind isn't full of worry and obligations and things to do, there's space for ideas, for creativity, for wondering what might be possible instead of just managing what already is. It's profound. It gives us room to choose. This is the big one for me. When I'm not carrying everything, when I've cleared out what's not mine, I can actually see what is. I can actually see what is mine, what I want to tend to, what I deserve my time, what deserves my time and energy and my heart. Empty space gives us discernment, clarity, the ability to say yes to what matters because we've said no to what doesn't. And maybe, most importantly, it gives us room to rest. Not just physical rest, though, that matters too, but the deep rest of not being constantly productive, not always growing, always blooming, always proving something. In this season of my life, I call the garden years, I'm learning that rest isn't laziness, it's restoration. The land needs to lie fallow sometimes. The mind needs to be quiet. The calendar needs space that isn't scheduled. We've been taught that empty is wasteful, that we should maximize every space, every moment, every opportunity. But but what if empty is exactly what we need? Well, I'm still learning. I want to be honest. I haven't arrived. I still catch myself organizing instead of decluttering, instead of letting go. I still make worry lists disguised as to-do lists. I still second guess when I say no to a good cause. And I still have this impulse to fill empty space, to make it productive, to justify it somehow. Just last week, I cleared off my desk, really cleared it off, left it beautifully empty. And within 2 days, I was already looking for things to put back, on the desk. Because empty feels uncomfortable at first. It feels incomplete, like something's missing. But I'm learning to sit with that discomfort, to let the space be empty, and trust that it's doing something I can't see yet. Maybe the soil is restoring itself. Maybe the roots are deepening where I can't watch them grow. Maybe rest is the most productive thing I can do right now, even though it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like achievement. I'm learning that flourishing doesn't mean constantly blooming. Sometimes flourishing means letting the garden be quiet for a season. So here we are, end of February, end of our decluttering month. And the question isn't, did we get rid of enough stuff? Did we finally organize our minds? Did we say no to enough obligations? The question is, did we create space? Space to breathe, space to imagine, space to choose what we tend to and what we release. Because that's what the gardening years are about. Not declining, not filling every moment with productivity to prove we are still valuable, but flourishing. And sometimes flourishing means choosing emptiness over fullness, rest over constant growth, space over stuff. Thank you for being on this journey. I really appreciate you journeying with me this month. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will, because we're just getting started. March is coming. Spring is coming. And we've made space for whatever wants to grow. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.